This time I'm going to try out a completely different format than before, more of a self-help type of segment that's geared towards struggling musicians. I'm reading off a script that I've prepared, so the tone and pacing of this video may be a little different than what I've done before. I do this because I have a tendency to get a little scatterbrained while speaking off the cuff, repeating things, rambling on, forgetting key points, and for this series especially, I want to make sure my message is as clear as I can possibly make it. So this is your musical motivation for the week. Today we're going to talk about the average-rated plateau, and I'm not referring to the 1984 hit by the Meat Puppets either. I'm talking about that certain skill level that we all reach at some point in time that seems impossible to rise above or move beyond. Whether you've been playing your instrument for a year or for 20 years, it's still possible to get stuck on top of this plateau sometimes. But the good news is you do not have to stick around there forever. There's much room to rise above, and I'd like to talk about a few of the ways that I've done it in the past. So these are tried and true methods. The first is to practice outside of your genre. Pick something vastly different than the style that you usually play. This doesn't necessarily have to be a style of music that you enjoy, but it certainly helps if you do enjoy it, since practicing should be something that we enjoy and not a chore. I, for one, can find enjoyment in almost any genre, but I know some folks out there are strictly into metal, strictly jazz, and so on. All you're looking for here is something that contains techniques that you have yet to employ, or something that uses the skills that you already know in a different way than you were used to. Just find a song, or even just a section of a song that you're interested in giving a try. Then look up some guitar tabs, sheet music, chord charts, a how to play video, whichever one does it for you. Then just make that piece a part of your practice routine for a week or a month, or just until you've mastered it and you're ready to move on, or just until you get bored of it and you want to move on. Then find another piece in that genre or a different one and repeat the process. And I'm not saying you should jump ship and become a country artist or something, but maybe like some bluegrass picking techniques might help you out on your next alternative rock song when you get writer's block. Some other examples of this could be if you're mainly a punk rock rhythm guitarist, you could try some metal style soloing. Or if you're a rock singer, you could try something from a soundtrack or a musical, something with a different tone and range that you can apply to your own sound. I think drummers especially can benefit from learning rhythms that are outside their usual genre, because percussion patterns are easy to substitute in various songs, and usually to a great new effect. My next method for rising above your musical plateau is to force yourself to learn songs that are harder than you can play at the time. This one requires a fair bit of self-discipline, but the greatest rewards in life usually do. The success gets kind of addictive here. Once you have a few success stories under your belt, once you've learned a few songs you thought you'd never be able to play, you're going to want to do more and better songs. Then you're going to look down and realize that plateau is long gone. Now, I'm not saying you need to break out the Dragon Force tabs and drive yourself crazy here. Just go for small skill increases, a little bit at a time. I assume if you're like me, you're listening to music all the time, and hopefully a good portion of that music is stuff that inspires the musician in you. As you listen, constantly be asking yourself questions like, is this something I'd be able to learn in an hour, in a week, a month? Or is this something that seems impossible to play, and why? Or, this one part of the song is really gnarly, man. How are they even doing that? The ones that seem like you could learn in an hour are too easy. They are not likely to help you off your plateau if you put the time into learning the entire piece. Go for the ones that seem just a little tiny bit out of your skill level, something you'll need to spend some time with, but not the rest of your life. Start out practicing at a slow tempo until you can play it accurately, then gradually increase the tempo until you can play it at full speed or faster. The songs that seem far too technical to play, or the parts that are so gnarly that you don't understand how they're done, more often than not, these rely on some trick or gimmick, a certain technique that sounds insane when you hear it, but is in fact very doable with the right amount of practice. You can find live versions of these where you can see the part being performed clearly, or slowing down the video might help you see how that part is structured better and give you a better idea of how to recreate the technique. If you can't find a live performance from the original artist where you can see the part being played clearly, check out some cover versions. These usually have much simpler camera angles and focus on the performer's hands more. This goes for audio recordings too. Just decrease your playback speed and things might start to make a lot more sense. YouTube is a great resource for this. Many people also post how-to-play videos, and a lot of them are very detailed and in-depth with a slower tempo example. Some of them have the tab or the sheet music right on the screen as they're giving you a real-life example. It's very useful stuff. The big takeaway here is don't be daunted by hard riffs. Get interested in them. Figure out what's going on behind the scenes and expand your arsenal of techniques. The third method is very similar to the second, but this time you're trying to write music that is harder than you can play at the time. A lot of the same things apply, but this is your own original songwriting, so you have to create the challenge for yourself. This could be something as simple as doing a song with a faster tempo than you're used to, or singing some higher notes than usual. Or you could get really technical and load your song up with a bunch of nuances and particular details you have to remember for a more complex, well-composed type of sound. An easy way to turn a simple chord-based song into something with a little more meat on its bones is to add fills before each chord change. A little short lick that bridges the two chords together in a nice way. Or find reharmonized or alternate versions of the chords and use those for certain parts of the song instead of the original chords. Now I have to give my disclaimer, I'm definitely not dissing on simplistic or minimalistic music here, but as far as progressing from a plateau, doing some of these things could be helpful to you. But either way, this should be a progression, something you apply to some degree every time you write a song. Work on it a little at a time, and in a year or two, you'll probably see big progress for sure. I've been writing songs for a super long time now, and even to this day, every new song that I write involves playing things that are harder than I can do at the moment. Usually it takes me months of practice after writing a song until I'm ready to take it to the stage or even post it online. Actually, the first several songs that I wrote for my solo acoustic project started out as finger-picking exercises that I wrote for myself. They started as a practice routine and grew into songs as I added more and more parts to challenge myself with. And I still do essentially the same thing to this day, even after playing guitar and singing for 18 years. There's still so much more out there that I have not done with my music yet. So I still keep finding ways to integrate new things into my sound. Harder picking patterns, percussive techniques, more unconventional chords and harmonies, multi-part texture so there's a bass and lead part at the same time. It goes on and on and on, and I can guarantee you that no matter your skill level, there's something fresh out there for you to try out. You just got to keep your eyes open for it and have the drive and determination to master it. There are certainly more ways to overcome the plateau, but at this point I feel like I've gone on for long enough for this video. So I'm going to leave it here for today. If you have your own methods, please do let me know down in the comments. I always value your input and would love to hear from you. Also, let me know what you think about this new format. It is probably something I'll be doing on a regular basis, so I have some more material over here in between songs. And also just because I love going full-on self-help mode and sharing with you the things that have helped me through the rough times. I ask that you pretty please like the subscribe button and subscribe to the like button, and I hope you all have fun out there.